All right, so welcome to today's lesson. This is our first lesson this semester. Okay, so we'll start with stats, and then at 20, you're going to have calculus with tutor Marius. Okay, all right, so we start this course, which at UNZA we call it Math 2602. Yeah, we call it at 2602, but it's just basically the basic statistics. Okay, so those who are from humanities, some of the things that we are going to be doing in this course, you already did them. Okay, like the means, the variance, standard deviation, those simple things, you already did them. And I assume that every one of us who is in this class, assume you have some knowledge, okay, of what statistics is or what statistics is all about. Okay, so anyone who can help us uh, define this word statistics. Okay, what is statistics in your own understanding? Anyone who can help us define it? Mr. Josh, I'll just be calling out names since you don't want to answer. What do you think statistics is? Okay, there's Commander Grace. Hey, Commander Grace. Commander Grace, what do you think a statistics is? Would you help us with the definition? All right. Okay. So statistics is just basically the science, okay, of collecting, simplifying, and describing data. Okay. And then after you do all that, it helps you make a better decision, okay, about the data that you have. Okay. So I won't talk about much about statistics and its type, okay, because I know anyone can read that. Okay. So you define statistics and then you're going to talk about the two types of statistics. Okay, so the first one is the descriptive, okay, which deals with the simplifying and giving properties of the data. And then the other one is what we call as inferential statistics. Okay, so the inferential one, it will help you make decisions, okay, based on the what? On the data. And this course is a bit different from the probability one that you took last semester, okay? In that there are a lot of formulas that you need to know, okay? Because statistics is just formula. When you want to calculate anything, you have to use a formula. So be very careful with the formulas. Make sure you know the formulas so that when a question comes, you can able to apply the formula, okay? And then the other thing is that the questions are very practical, okay? They are applicational. They just don't ask statistic questions from anyhow, okay? The questions will always be practical. So they'll give you a scenario, okay? And then you have to interpret it based on whatever you learned, okay? So you find the means, whatever you're told to find, okay? So, but in this class, I'm going to concentrate on the population and the sample, okay? So why am I doing that? Because everything that you're going to be doing in statistics will just be based about the population or sample, okay? So they'll give you information either about the population, and then you are asked to find something about the sample, or they'll give you information about the sample, and then you use it to find something about the population. And that's actually what happens in the real world, okay? Because the numbers or the figures that people deal with in industries out there, they are so big, okay? So most of the times you will just get a part of uh, those statistics. So we call that as a sample. Okay, so a sample is just part of the population. And then we can do our analysis based on the sample. So that analysis will now tell us something about the what? About the population. Right, so to help us with that, I just got a question. This is question one from the tutorial sheet one. I'm very sure Dr. Now is going to stick to this same tutorial sheet, okay? But if they change, it's not a big deal. We'll still look at them. Okay, so this is the question here, and this question will just help us understand the population, okay, and its characteristics. Will also help us to understand the sample and its what? Characteristics. Okay, so if I explain anything that you do not understand, please feel free to ask. Okay, feel free to contribute. Feel free to say anything because we just want to share knowledge with each other. All right, so the question reads, they're saying, unaware that 45% of 20,000 voters in his constituency support him, a politician decides to estimate his political strength. A sample of 200 voters shows that 40% support him. Okay, so the first question is, what is the population? Okay, so anyone who can help us, what is the population in this case here that we've been given? Anyone? What's the population? All right, so the population actually is just, or the population, we can say the population refers to the entire group that we want to study or get information about. Okay, so in this case here, the population will just be these 20,000 voters here. Okay, so we want to get information about these 20,000 voters. Okay, so those are the entire voters in his constituency. Okay, so we are going to say the population there is just what? 20,000. So we're going to write 20,000 here. So this is our population. Okay, and then B, they're saying, what is the parameter of interest? And then state its value. Okay, so we said in statistics, we have this population. Okay, and then from this population, we can get a small part like this one here, this box. Okay, we get it, we put it here. We're going to call this small part of a population, we're going to call it a what? A sample. Okay, and then this big box here, we are saying it's a what? It's a population. So now, okay, the characteristics, okay, that will be describing something about the population. Okay, the characteristics that will be describing something about the population, we call those as parameters. Okay, so about the population, we'll be calling something that will be describing the population, we call it as the what? A parameter. And then, okay, if I have a sample, okay, the characteristics that will be describing this sample, okay, we call it as a statistic. Okay, so statistic, that's what we call it. Okay, so anything that will be describing something about the sample, we're going to call it as a statistics. Okay, so when you are asked to give the exact definitions of the statistics or the parameter, okay, you simply say it's just the parameter is a numerical value, okay, or we can say a numerical summary that will describe characteristics of the entire population. And then this statistic, okay, will just be a numerical value that will describe characteristics of the what? Of a sample. So that's the difference, okay? So be careful when they ask you to define this word here, because I've seen people mix it up with statistics, okay? So statistics, we say this is the science of getting the information and then working on it and then coming up with an informed decision. That is statistics, okay? Then when they just say statistic, okay, they just mean a numerical summary, okay, that describes something about the what? The sample. So there's a difference there, okay? So this question B here, they're saying, what is the parameter of interest? Okay, so I've told you the definition, okay? We just said the parameter is a numerical summary that describes something about the population, okay? So in this case, this question that we've been given here, okay, we are interested in the proportion of all the 20,000 voters who support who support this politician here. Okay, so what is the proportion of these 20,000 voters that support this politician here? Okay, so remember we are talking about the parameter. So we want to get a numerical summary about the what? The population here. So it means that, okay, it means that our parameter of interest here, I've already stated it. We say it is the proportion. Okay, so we can write it. We say proportion of all the 20,000 voters who support the politician. Okay, let me just make space here. Who support, I'll just say support him. Okay, so this here is our parameter. And then they also say that we state its value. Okay, so the value of this proportion is simply 45%. Okay, or when you put it in decimals, it will be 0.45. So this here is the value of the what? Of the parameter. All right, so we look at C. Okay, so C will just be similar to what we did on B there. Okay, but there will just be talking about the statistic. Okay, so C, they're saying what is the statistic of interest, and then they're also saying state its value. Okay, so remember we said the statistic tells us something about the sample, right? Okay, so in this case, the sample here is what? Okay, what's the value of the sample? The sample here, its value is 200 voters. Okay, so this is the value of the sample, right? Okay, so the statistics will tell us something about this sample. Okay, so the statistic here is just the proportion of all the 200 voters, okay, who support this population in this sample. Okay, so that's the statistic. Now I've run out of space here. Okay, so I can erase this part so that I write the one for statistics. Okay, so this is the proportion of the 200 voters in the sample that supports the politician. Okay, so this here will be polity. Okay, this here will be our statistic, and then they have told us to state its value. Okay, so the value of a statistic is this 40% here. So we're going to say 40%, or you can put it in decimals, you're going to say 0. What? 4. So this one here is the value of our what? Statistic. All right, so any questions up to there, or it's clear, or anything that you want to contribute, feel free.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, like for me, like I've never attended the class for statistics, so this is like my first time. Like, is this how they bring all the questions? We just start like the way we have started from direct from the tutorialship.
Okay, so yeah, so this is a question from the story sheet. So it's a sample of how they can bring the questions. Yeah. So they'll teach you, and then that's how the question can be brought in the quiz, in the tests, or in the assignments. This is a sample of how a question can come.
Oh, so is it like the way we are doing a probability, whereby a lot of definitions, what, and so on?
Yes. So there's also a lot of definitions, and then I also mentioned that you have to deal with a lot of formulas. So formulas, definitions, they'll be there.
No, okay.
All right. Okay, so if there are no questions, I'll go to D. Okay, so D, we're just using the results from the previous questions, ABC, and then we'll come up with the answer for D. Okay, so here on D, they're saying one, compare your answers in B and C, okay? And then they are going on to say, is it surprising that they are different? Remember, the value that we found here was 45%, right? And then the value that we found here was 30%, 40%, I mean. So they're asking, is it surprising that these two are different here? Okay, and then the question goes on. It says, if the politician were to sample another 200 voters, okay, which of these two numbers would most likely change? And then they're saying explain. Okay, so anyone who can help us explain this question, okay? Anyone who explains this question, I'll give you a free subscription for the month of July. Anyone who can explain why are those two numbers different?
Hello.
Yes?
Yeah, can I attempt?
Yes, you can, sir.
Uh, from my own perspective, I feel like the reason why they are different is because the other one account. I mean, which of them would likely to change if we were to add another 200 voters?
Mhm.
Well, I think the sample would change because a sample basically just describes the characteristics of a group in a population, meaning that there are other characteristics which are remaining to be, to be described. But for the population, it says the entire population, so meaning there wouldn't be any other um, number aside from that. So it's more like a fixed. But with the population, they would actually come and more you collect them, the likelihood that they are actually approaching to the parameter, which is the 45. Yeah, that's just my try. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. What's your name?
My name is Mosel Chimuk.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Mosel. Yeah, so whatever I was explaining there, um, that's actually correct. Okay, so the population, or I mean the parameter, okay, it's the actual proportion of the supporters who support this politician, okay, in the entire population. So adding another sample would not change it. It will still remain 45%, okay? But the sample may likely change because um, if this 200, the first sample here, they said it's 40% who support him. It might be that in the other sample where you have 200 voters, okay, it might be lower than 40 or it might be higher than 40, okay? So the population still, the parameter still remains the same, okay, but the static will change. Okay, why? Because we're talking about the samples. Okay, so the sample can differ from one sample to the other. It will give you a slight different answer. Okay, so that's correct, Mr. Chumuke. Hey, I've forgotten the answer, but you should text me. Okay, so just inbox me after the class. Yeah. All right. So basically, that's like the introduction. Okay, we just dealt with the population and then the sample. And it's going to be like that. Okay, for the entire course, you just be doing things, okay, about the population. It tells you something about the sample, or about the sample, tells you something about the population. That's the whole idea of statistics. Okay, so this statistics that you're doing now, um, especially for those who are pursuing to become maybe data analysts, statisticians, okay? This is the key course that you should have, okay? Because whatever you'll be doing in the industries, to be based on this same course that you're doing now, okay? So the semester is very short. Please pay attention and stay focused, okay? They just have like 5 topics here, but the 5 topics have a lot of things, okay? So the first one is the introduction, you have definitions, you have data representation, um, you have what else do you have? You have the frequency histograms, those things. And then after this topic, you're going to go to estimation and sampling. So that one is a bit different. And you have to use some knowledge from probability. Leonard, you've raised your hand. You have a question? Mr. Leonard, you have a
Yes, I
hand.
have a question.
Yes, you can ask.
Yes, I have a question. The question is, I didn't get the difference between statistic, which is the numerical value, and also the definition for statistics. The definition, the difference. So
Come again. I didn't get you. You said speak a little bit louder.
I didn't get the difference between the numerical value for statistics and also the, the definition for the word statistic.
Oh, okay. So I was saying, uh, yeah. So that's what I was saying. I said that there is actually a confusion between this statistic and statistics. Okay, so statistics when there's an s at the end like this, statistics like this here, then here you'll be referring to a field of study, or you can say the science, okay, of collecting the data, analyzing it, and then making informed decisions about it. That statistics, like a field, okay? And then this statistic here, okay, that one is just a numerical value or a numerical summary that will tell you something about the sample. Okay, so like how many people are in the sample, we can call that as a statistic. Okay, but statistics with an S at the end is a field of study, okay, or we can say the science. So that's the difference there.
Sir, please, sorry, come again on statistic. What's the definition?
Okay, so statistic is a numerical value or a summary that tells you something about the what about the sample. That's statistic without the S at the end, just statistic. Okay, and then statistics is a field now. Okay, like the course that you are taking. So you're going to say statistics is the science of whatever, or it's just a field of study. But statistic, it's just something that will tell you something about the what? The sample. That's the difference there. Have you gotten it?
Sure, sir.
All right. Yeah. So today we've learned what a population is. We've talked about the sample, what describes the sample, which is a statistic, what describes the population, which is a what? A parameter. So you'll be dealing with these four words, okay, for the rest of the course. So you have to get used to them. Okay, they'll say, given this sample, blah, 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 they give you a question just like that. Okay, so this was just an introduction. I hope you guys have already started studying, okay, because Dr. Now moves at a very fast rate with his writing. So don't remain behind. Always move with him. So whatever he teaches, make sure you understand it, and then just be moving like that. Yeah. Otherwise, the semester is very short, and you'll be required to put in a lot of effort. Yeah. So I don't know if there are any other questions. You can ask me any other questions, not about statistics, but about any second year course. You can ask me a question, and then we can end the meeting.
So, like, sir, on the famous statistics, like, what are the best strategies? How
What
to
are,
go about it? Like, the best strategies whereby how you can be standing in of the 4 terms, which you'll be using for the whole semester. So, what are some of the strategies whereby they can help me, like, to understand it to the fullest?
Okay, so the simple question is is actually studying. You just have to study, um, and then you can familiarize yourself with. If you want to pass this course anyway, you can familiarize yourself with a lot of questions like past papers, because the lecturer there, he just likes bringing the same things. Okay, so just get the past papers, read about something, and then try to see if you can answer the questions. That's how you get uh, familiar with these things. So just do that. So answer a lot of past paper questions, then you'll be good.
All right, sir.
All right. So any other questions? Okay, so if there are no any other questions, I would just like to put it out there. Like the way we'll be offering our lessons this semester is like this. Okay, so before you subscribe, make sure you understand and you accept. Because that semester I had a lot of issues with some people who subscribed, and then they were accusing us of doing something, that we were not doing. So if you subscribe for our lessons, okay? If you subscribe for our lessons, we'll be providing uh, you with videos, okay? Especially on the tutorial sheets that you are going to be having and your assessments, like the quizzes, assignments, the tests, okay? Even past exam papers. We'll be providing those videos during the week, okay? So during the week, we'll only be providing you guys with the recorded videos. Okay, so you can access the recorded videos on our website. Very soon, we're going to share an app, okay, that we're developing, and the app is very nice. Okay, so you can easily watch the video, you can do anything there. And the good thing is that you can download the videos. Okay, so you can go to my room, download all the videos that you want to watch, and then you can even go to your room or boarding house to switch off the data, you still be able to watch the videos. So you can watch the videos offline on the app. Okay, that's the good part. So if you subscribe, we'll be providing videos throughout the week that you can watch. Okay, and then on Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be having live classes like this one, where you're able to interact, ask questions. So that's basically how we're going to move like this semester. And then we'll be offering lessons for this course. We'll be offering lessons for 2100, and then we'll also be offering lessons for 2200. Okay, so that's how we are going to be moving this semester. But if you have any questions during the week, feel free to hit our inbox. You can inbox me, you can inbox Tutor Marius. You're going to get helped. Okay, all right, so that's basically it. And then those who are doing statistics, okay, those who are doing statistics, the program statistics, or anyone who is interested in learning the practical aspect of whatever we do, because at UNZA we only do the theory, we don't do the practical. Okay, so if you're interested in knowing how to do the practical, how to learn the languages R, Python, please inbox me. Okay, because we are coming up with something and we need the support of you guys. We want to learn together. So if you are interested in that, please inbox me or inbox to Tamaria so that we add you to the program. Otherwise, thank you so much. I think at 20, you're going to have 2100 with Marius. You're going to start, is it integration? Something like that. All right, so guys, so have a blessed night.
Thank you, sir.